I became an app developer overnight with basic programming knowledge. Now, I wasn't sleeping overnight. I stayed up till 5 a.m. learning to develop my iPhone app. So here's my problem. I have this big, fancy red cinema camera, but it doesn't have autofocus. As of filming right now, it has been 24 hours since I even had the idea to make an app, and I already have a fully functional app. Check this out. It definitely doesn't look like much. It is very much still in the alpha state, but it works. This controls my camera, my autofocus. Look at that. I can rack focus with a slider on my phone. And I figured out how to do this in less than 24 hours, and so can you. Now, disclaimer, I want to recognize the Dunning-Kruger effect. I'm very much right here at the top. That's me. And it feels great. I'm living for it. This just so happens to correlate exactly with the serotonin and dopamine in my brain. I'm full of confidence and no experience to back it up. I feel like I could develop anything right now. That is how good it feels to be at the top here on the Dunning-Kruger effect. Here's the story. I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw a post on the Red owner group from Jared Lang. Sorry, I actually mean Jared Land. He's basically the Elon Musk of the camera world. He is the founder of Red cinema cameras. And in this post, he was sharing an open beta for an iOS and Mac app that you can connect your Red to control. Unfortunately, it was only for Komodo. So I took a look around, and unfortunately, still the only option for DSMC2 cameras is Full Control, which is a $230 app. And for myself, I'm basically like a Red owner hobbyist at this point. Like I barely use the thing. I'm mostly just editing nowadays. I don't want to spend $230 on an app that I'm probably never going to use. And if I am going to use it, it's only going to be to film myself like this. So for me, it's really not worth the $230. So I'm like, screw it, I'll make my own. And in the very rare occurrence, it was actually a lot easier than I expected. I just turned on this camera with a Python script that I just wrote. I feel like it just hacked my Red camera. Usually when I do stuff like this, I'll have a really good idea and I'll be like, yeah, I can do that. And then I'll go to do it and I'll realize how much more complicated it really was, but not in this case. But here's the thing that I actually want to do with my camera. It is to change the focus on the camera. So take a look at this. So right now we are sitting at like my face, roughly, a little soft because we're wide open. Let's put it to 0. I just ran the wrong command and stopped recording. Okay, we'll try that again. Let's put the focus to 0. Boom, cool. Now let's put it back to where my face was. Hopefully this is still the same. Yep, come look at this. You don't have to be on camera, just look at it. I can control my camera from my phone, from this Python script.
That's so cool.
But the cool thing is that I could write a program to wirelessly control the focus on my camera. But little did I know that for the next 16 hours, I would be doing nothing but that. So here's the basics of how the app works. Your camera, or any device for that matter, while connected to the internet or a local network, has an IP address. That IP address is like a mailing address for code. Additionally, the port is like the mailbox or the open door for that code to enter. Are you following with me? Thankfully, Red cameras have multiple ways for you to connect to your camera through Wi-Fi. They also have different communication methods. In this case, we are using RCP, or which is commonly known as TCP, Transmission Control Protocol, or in Red's case, Red Control Protocol. They like to rename things kind of like how Apple renames things. And here's like the basics of how it works. The camera is the receiving server. I'm going to send bits of code to the camera. If that code is formatted properly, it will apply to the settings. It's actually very straightforward. Here is an example of code that would start recording, which I actually used when I started recording this video. And by the way, I knew none of this 48 hours ago. That is how quickly you can learn this stuff. And looking at the RCP documentation, there is a lot we can do. If it is a setting on the camera, there is a command to control it through the wireless communication protocol. That is really exciting. That means we can do literally anything from any programming language and just send it to the camera. Huge shout out to Red for even having this as like a thing. I don't imagine most cameras have this sort of development ability. So that's really cool. Ironically, this is kind of like the perfect device for learning this remote control protocol. The only problem is the many tens of thousands of dollars to get one. Anyways, so the first step is to figure out how to construct one of these lines of code to send to the camera. Thankfully, there is one and only one video on YouTube on this topic. Will thank you for making this video. If you did not make this video, I would not be making this video or my app. I would have just given up. Please go send some love to Will. He is a literal hero. Funny enough, I actually came across this video a long time ago, but didn't actually do anything. I just watched it, thought it was interesting, and that was about it. This time I was motivated, I was going to make something. So I followed the tutorial and made a Python script. If possible, if you were looking to develop your own, I would highly recommend starting in Python for prototyping. In my case, Python was perfect because we're just trying to communicate between devices. Python can be very straightforward and you can grasp it pretty quickly. In fact, I could actually take this Python script, put it on a Raspberry Pi, attach like a wheel, and I could have like a physical follow focus. I mean, I'd have to integrate the wheel, but we could also do stuff like add buttons to control the ISO, stop and start recording, you name it. Anyways, that tutorial video kind of gave me the concept of what I needed to learn to figure out how to put this into an iPhone app. Now, I probably could have gone with some sort of like JavaScript for like cross-platform, but one step at a time. I didn't want to complicate things. I'm using the app right now to refocus. Now, there's only one problem to this idea. I have never successfully made an iPhone app. I had to start learning Swift, which is Apple's programming language. And if there's one thing I am good at, it's Googling and problem solving. I Googled the heck out of this project. Every step of the way was like 15 to 100 Google searches. Okay, maybe unguided Google searching isn't for everyone. I would highly recommend checking out something like Skillshare. This video is not sponsored, but I do have an affiliate link in the description. Skillshare has tons of amazing content to help you learn whatever you're looking for. The best part about Skillshare is that it's an unlimited monthly subscription with a free trial. So if that's your thing, check out the link in the description. Again, not sponsored, but it is an affiliate link. Please sponsor me. And the frustrating part is that Apple has like completely overhauled the Swift programming language like 3 different times. Swift 2, 3, and 4 look nothing like 5. It's like almost there, but it's different. Very frustrating. So I had to kind of figure a lot out on my own. Pretty much all the resources online from other developers were outdated, and anything from Apple had like no examples, and they didn't do a very good job of explaining how to do things. They'll tell you what things are, but that's about it. You can't search the documentation, you have to go through the categories. It's so dumb. Thankfully, there was other websites that had the documentation with more information, which is just stupid. I feel like Apple should be providing that information. Anyways, enough of that rant. Lots of troubleshooting, lots of trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing, but 24 hours, we do have a working application. It does not look good right now. It is very much in an alpha stage, but we got the focus slider, we have stop and start record, and that's about it. But the potential here is almost endless. Next steps are adding more features, and then finally I'm going to make it look good. Actually, in the thumbnail of this video, I'm probably going to change what the app looks like, maybe a prototype design, just so that it doesn't look like that in the thumbnail. I think with a little bit more time developing this app, I could package it into something that is actually very usable and sell on the App Store, even for a fraction of the price of the competitor. And hey, even if it makes enough profit, I could hire an experienced editor to help me package it into something much nicer. But for now, if you are interested in this project, I will keep things posted on Twitter. I wanted to encourage others to try something new, because you seriously might not know what you can accomplish if you just try. This was literally a one-day investment into learning something new. Imagine if I got 1% better every day at programming this. In a year or two, I could be a pro. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to catch the next one. My name is Matthew Paquette, and I became an app developer. Peace. Oh wait, not gonna touch the button.